Coming up on the official Celtic FC podcast, Celtic supporting singer-songwriter Shay O'Dowd looks ahead to his headline gig at St Luke's, reflects on his love for Celtic, and he performs live in the studio.
Look at the shadows, it's a different world. You build a life just to watch it burn. My people, my equals, we're just normal people.
Hello and welcome to the official Celtic FC podcast. I'm Matthew Campbell and today I'm delighted to be joined by one of the rising stars in the Scottish music scene, Shay O'Dowd, winner of the Breakthrough Artist of the Year at the recent Scottish Music Awards. Shay, you've got the wonderful award right here on the table. It's been a marvellous period of time for yourself. Listen, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Mate, absolutely brilliant. I'm absolutely buzzing to be here. And I just gave my wee award a polish, so she's looking good.
Looking good. We obviously came in through the front door at Celtic Park today to come up here to the studio.
Yep.
You're a Celtic supporter, obviously, and I could tell just, coming down the tunnel and being around the place, getting into the dressing room, it seemed to mean a lot to you.
Aye, definitely, mate. I think, I was just saying to my manager, Nathan, coming in here, actually, see, when I was a wee guy, I probably would have thought I'd have been here as a player, but I'll take as a musician. But just standing there, look, the place just looks even bigger when it's empty, to be honest. But it's mental, and getting to see the dressing room and all that kind of stuff. It was definitely a pinch me moment.
It's marvellous, and of course we're going to talk a wee bit about your connection with Celtic. You're a Celtic season ticket holder, a Celtic supporter, but we'll get to that. Let's chat a little bit about the music, because it's been a hugely successful time for yourself.
Yep.
Like we say, just recently, you pick up this award right here, the Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Just sum up your feelings about that.
Oh, mate, it's been a mental year, to be honest. Like, just for some perspective, like at the start of this year, I had no music out and I'd hardly played any gigs. And fast forward to now, in May, I played my first show, sold out King Tuts, before releasing any music. I released my debut EP, and then we went on to win the Breakthrough Artist of the Year award at the Scottish Music Awards, which was just mental. To be honest, I got to play the Barrlands, which is like, for every new artist, is like a big thing. Do you know what I mean? So even just to get to stand up on that stage, I know it's not for my own show, but just to play there was just mental. And now I've got the gig coming up in December at St Luke's, so it's been a mental year, and I just can't wait to keep playing,
keep going. I mean, it has been a bit of a roller coaster, a whirlwind for you. It's and it's quite interesting to hear, in terms of just how quickly I guess everything's sort of changed for you. Talk to me about this, the King Tuts gig earlier in the year, because I was fascinated when I was reading this. Yep. So at that point you hadn't released any music, but yet you've sold out an iconic venue in Glasgow City Centre. How does that come about?
Mate, pure hustle and building your own hype. I think, from the get go, like my family and friends, just got behind it. These things always have a lot of planning, and it was making sure everyone knows and they're aware of the gig, behind the scenes. And it was like, right, okay, when we put this on sale, you better go buy your tickets. And friends, family, it became this big event. And the thing is, I had no music out, so people didn't really know what to expect. I think they were probably just coming out of like just sheer support and probably for a good night, I guess. But the show went really well, and it turns out those people want to buy tickets again and come back and see the show. So it was that. I remember in January going in and being like, right, I want to play live, and Nathan was like, my manager was like, right, we'll play King Tuts. He was like, how many mates do you have? I was like, no 300 mates, right? So we're not playing King Tuts. But it was good to have somebody to just kind of push me in the deep end and go, right, go for it. And I met the band and started obviously rehearsing and all that kind of stuff, and it went so much better than I could have expected it to. So it was class.
Well, that's great to hear. But I'm intrigued by this. Obviously, you had nothing released at that point, but I assume you had your own music, even to play live. But sort of describe your music to anybody who's watching or listening to this podcast. What are your inspirations? What would you like in your sound?
I definitely take influences from like Paolo Nutini, Sam Fender. Like my music's in between Paolo, Fender, a bit of Capaldi because I love the ballad stuff. But I like storytelling, mate. Like, I like writing from different perspectives. I feel like, you know, I get bored writing about my own life. You know, sometimes my life's not that exciting. So, I need to find other things and, you know, other perspectives to write from. But like you said, like I did have hundreds of tunes. I spent a few years writing. I was going down to London and I got to write with some amazing writers and producers and up here in Scotland and all that kind of stuff. So by the time I was like, right, we're going to play live, I had a lot of songs like near enough ready to go, and I was able to go, right, okay. The goal was to sell at a gig before releasing, because I think only a few other artists had done that, including Capaldi and Joseph, who my manager's also managed. So that was always like the target. Like, if we can sell out a gig before releasing music, then we've got a story. Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, we've done that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a wonderful achievement. I've obviously we've been arranging for yourself to come in, obviously as well in light of picking up this brilliant award. So having a little listen to your music that's out there now, I think it's a very accomplished sound as well for somebody who's, you know, as you would probably say yourself, at the beginning of your career.
Mate, 100%. I am at the beginning of my career, but I think it is because the amount of time I spent preparing to be at the beginning of my career. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think, you know, like after some good advice, like I was, you know, when you're a new artist, you just go, I want to go play, I want to go show people what I can do. But the reality is, like, you usually have a lot of work to do, and you need to write 100 songs to you know, to get decent at it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was the thing, is like, if I can work on my craft for a wee bit, and then once I'm ready to go, the people are like, wow, this is actually these are some songs here. Do you know what I mean? And that was always the kind of thought process behind starting out in my career.
So I find it interesting. I find it refreshing as well, the fact that, you know, you're not sitting here saying, oh, I'm incredibly lucky and I've just managed to, because that isn't the case here. You know, you've obviously worked really hard to get the achievements that you've already racked up. In terms of the actual process of writing a song or you know, and releasing it, for you, what comes first, the lyrics or the tune?
Good question, mate. Well, I play piano mostly, a bit of guitar as well. So it's usually an instrument. I always find, like, if a song doesn't sound good at a guitar or a piano, it's probably not that good. Like, if you need a big production around it, like, the song itself probably isn't great. So I always try to make, you know, I write my tunes, a bit of lyrics, a bit of melody, kind of at the same time, and I've got a wee, like, studio set up in my bedroom, and I kind of put together demos, record rough versions, and then I'll take it to, you know, a producer that I'm working with and be like, what do you think of this? Is there something here that we can you know, flesh out? Yeah,
it's good to hear the sort of the process that goes into it. Certainly for, you know, someone like myself who has ever been involved in that kind of world. Of course. I think it's quite an interesting thing to hear. Let's talk a wee bit about this award here, because it is a fantastic achievement. The Breakthrough Artist of the Year. And you're a Celtic supporter as well. Another bauble for Celtic, which is great. You mentioned a couple of names there a minute ago. You know, you're talking about Lewis Capaldi and you're talking about Paolo Nutini, who have been recipients of this through the years. I mean, that must really sort of validate for yourself personally what you're doing, and sort of, I don't know, you could tell us, but it must give you a sense of inspiration to kind of emulate their success, I suppose.
Yeah, no, of course. I think, like, you know, anyone likes being, you know, recognised for whatever they do. So it's obviously a nice thing, and so early on as well in my kind of journey in this whole artist, singer-songwriter thing, you know, it's to be awarded that so early on was just mental, to be honest, and I'm so grateful, especially when it has been won by artists that I do look up to. But I also think, and another thing, it's like a social proof type thing. You know, like, you kind of do start out as like a wee guy playing tunes, and like some people are like, aye, that's good, and you know, but I think it's things like this that, you know, that they are great, but it's more for other people to be like, oh, I think he won that award, maybe I should tune into the songs, and you know, but aye, it's, mate, I'm super grateful for it all, to be honest, and the big part for me was actually getting to play the Barrlands.
Well, let's talk about that because,
like,
I mean,
mental.
it's an incredible venue. Everybody knows it. Everybody talks about, playing the Barrland Ballroom as being, one of their ambitions in life as a musician.
Yeah.
You've done it now.
Yeah.
What was it even like, being behind the scenes at a place like that?
Mate, it's just like the same, like earlier on, being like in the dressing room, like at Parkhead. It was just like, it's the same thing for me because I'm like, I do music and that's like an iconic thing, an iconic venue here in Glasgow, and just going backstage, like you can just feel like the history, and yeah, just stepping out on stage. I remember like just like stepping out and I was like, wow, this is big, because obviously the gig previously to that was King Tuts, which is obviously a lot smaller. So it was definitely a big step up, but it's put me in good stead for going on to St Luke's, and gave me that confidence to be like, right, these are the type of venues I want to work towards. And I think I was in the backstage and we done a wee clip and I was like, I'm gonna headline this.
I see that actually.
But aye, so hopefully I'm headlining that at some point.
Absolutely, yeah, and I don't see any reason, of course, why not.
Yeah.
You're clearly the star is on the rise here, and if it doesn't work out in terms of music, you might have a future in terms of doing podcasts, because you've led me perfectly into talking about the gig at St Luke's. It's coming up on the 23rd of December. You're kind of racking up iconic Glasgow venues, ticking them off the list one by one, but this one is going to be a bit special because you're headlining the gig, and before we even started speaking here, your phone's buzzing, people are trying to request tickets. How much are you looking forward to this?
Mate, buzzing, and see, because it's on the 23rd, it's like 2 days before Christmas, so it's going to be a big party for myself, big party for everybody there. It's definitely been, not going to lie, it's a big venue for an artist at the beginning, like myself, so it has been tough, but all my friends and family and just, friends of friends and friends of friends are all selling tickets for me, so every day I'm getting, 5 sold, 3 sold. It's really good, and hopefully we can sell it out. But I've been in that venue and it's just got something special about it. We had a couple of venues that we were like thinking about playing, but the thought process behind playing St Luke's was like, it was just round the corner for the Barras, so it was like that one step closer to the Barras.
Of course.
So we were like, right, let's go for St Luke's, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it.
Brilliant, and of course there's still tickets available for people.
there's
So how
still
would people go about getting those?
Ticketmaster, Ticketweb, any kind of stuff, you can just look up Shay O'Dowd, St Luke's, or you can, if you're on any of my social media, you'll find it in my bio. But there's limited tickets left, so it'll be a good one.
It's set to be a cracker. 23rd of December. It's one that you want to try and get along to if you can. Before we hand over to you to sort of give us a little bit of your music, let's chat a wee bit about something that unites both you and I and so many millions of people around about the world, Celtic Football Club. You're, like we said earlier, a Celtic supporter, and I can only assume that it's been a huge part of your life growing up as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's like we were talking about earlier. I think it's like a culture thing. I mean, when I was younger, I used to drive over to Ireland, and I've got family in Ireland and all that kind of stuff, and they're all big Celtic supporters, and we were always as a family, my mum and dad didn't really do much music, but they always kind of pushed us into doing music. And I feel like, being a wee guy, when I was a wee guy, like I used to play a lot of football, and football was probably the biggest part of my life. Like I wasn't like the music guy in school, really, to be honest. I was football daft. Wasn't until like later in my teenage years that I went into music. But it was growing up like Celtic was always just buying the kits, and when I was younger I didn't have a season ticket, so I didn't get to go to as many games, but the games that I did get to go to were definitely special, and I've been at a few kind of away ones, and going on some trips as well, which are definitely special to me as well.
It's sort of memories that just end up locked in your mind as a younger supporter going to the games and whatever.
Even like watching certain games on TV, I've got like a vivid memory. Maybe that's because you're maybe watching it with a loved one that's no longer here, and those were the kind of the times you kind of seen them, was maybe a Celtic game. That's the kind of one time a week you would maybe see them. So it's all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Celtic for me, obviously, like I love the football, but it's definitely like a culture thing as well that I love.
See, I find that really interesting actually when you're mentioning that, the terms of the being a cultural thing, right? Because you're sitting here at the sort of beginning of your career as a musician and as a performer there on stage. You've already got an award to show for it, so you're successful already. But you're joining a long and ever-growing list of people who come from the same background as we do, who are Celtic supporters, but who go out into these creative industries and make it and express themselves. I just find it, a really encouraging thing, obviously as a Celtic supporter and someone from our background. And do you look at that and think about, even growing up, that potentially that was also an inspiring factor?
Definitely, mate. I think even like coming to Parkhead as a wee guy, and just even now, like when you're singing You'll Never Walk Alone, or Let the People Sing, or Grace and all that kind of stuff, like those songs are genuinely just beautiful songs in itself, whether it's Celtic songs or not. It's just they are beautiful songs, and I think it definitely is a club that encourages that kind of love for music, and that's definitely had an effect on me. I've always had kind of Irish music influence as well. I used to play like the penny whistle and all that kind of stuff, and I'm fans of other artists. There's a boy in Ireland called Aaron Rowe. He's upcoming, and I'm pretty sure he's a big Celtic fan. And I don't know. There's definitely that, like, whether you're aware of it or not, there's that influence that kind of breeds into the music. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely. A deep chat we've had there, but it's good. Before we hand over to you about to play the music, I've got to ask you, growing up through the years, who was your Celtic hero? Who was your favourite Celtic player?
It was actually before my time, right? But it was Henrik Larsson, because it was my dad's favourite player. So like when I was a wee guy, I was playing football and I was decent enough. And my dad used to always show me like clips of Henrik Larsson like chipping the keeper, and I used to try it and always fail. But no, it's mental, because the funniest bit I think is worth mentioning is like when I was playing football, I ended up going to play with Alloa and stuff like that for a few years, and it was actually my coach at Alloa that noticed that I had an interest for music, and he sent me this Ryan Tedder course, and he's a big writer and producer, and I'd done that course, and after doing that, I kind of fell away from the football. I was just obsessed with music. So, but it's funny, like it's kind of my football experience that brought me towards my love for music. But going back to an old hero of mine was definitely Henrik Larsson, mate. Definitely.
Good choice. I mean, it'd be the guy that I would pick as well.
Now probably like more suits my style of play would be like Callum McGregor. I love that type of player, just doing the simple things well. Apart from when he hits screamers in the back of the net. But definitely.
Top man, brilliant. Well, listen, we're going to get you to get the guitar out now. What song are we going to get to hear from you?
This is a song called Normal People. I think it was my second single. It's one I always kind of love playing live. I love playing it in acoustic, and I love playing it with a full band when it's at the gig. So, it's a song called Normal People.
Superb. Well, listen, thank you very much, and
cheers,
thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the official Celtic FC podcast. We're now going to leave you with Shay O'Dowd, who, as we mentioned, is playing at St Luke's on the 23rd of December. And this is Shay with his song, Normal People.
Hello, I'm Shay O'Dowd, and this is my song, Normal People.
Works their job every day of the week. What you gotta do just to stay on your feet. Grown up round those same four streets, living just that. He said he had much more to give, but the world don't give to. So he spends his nights alone, just getting high. There were dreamers and lovers, so much to discover. Well, if only he'd have had a little guidance. Now he's getting by Barrlands while his dad is doing life. Well, I guess the alcohol made him violent. Look at the shadows, it's a different world. You build a life just to watch it burn. My people, my equals, we're just normal people. So many stories that they'll never write, 'cause they never found the wings just to let them fly. My people, my equals, we're just normal, we're just normal people. Scars and memories laced on his skin, pocket change and hope both running thin. Caught up in a cycle that he'll never win, and he's living just to die. Yeah, the saddest thing about it is he won't get out. Thought that I had problems till I looked around, 'cause that could be me. Yeah, that could be me. Yeah, there's poets and writers forced to be good fighters. Yeah, that's the price down on the street. So much anger underneath it all. Look at the shadows, it's a different world. You build a life just to watch it burn. My people, my equals, we're just normal people. So many stories that they'll never write, 'cause they never found the wings just to let them fly. My people, my equals, we're just normal people. Oh, 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 I see your faith and all those pills you're taking, habits you can't break. And oh, heaven's only waiting, passed out on the pavement. Wish that I could save them. Oh, look at the shadows, it's a different world. You build a life just to watch it burn. My people, my equals, we're just normal people. So many stories that they'll never write, 'cause they never found the wings just to let them fly. My people, my equals, we're just normal, we're just normal people. We're just normal, we're just normal people. We're just normal, we're just normal people. Thank you.